Good morning. This is day 2 of the 21-day challenge that I'm doing, and I thought I would update you on what I've accomplished yesterday. So yesterday I spent a lot of time leveling off this area with 3/4 inch gravel, and then what I used for that was pretty sweet. It's a little 3-foot skid steer that my neighbor recently purchased, and so yeah, I have a pretty awesome neighbor. I have access to a skid steer, mini skid steer, and an excavator, and a whole bunch of other tools. So yeah, so what I did was I spent a couple hours hauling this gravel across the street because we dumped a bunch of gravel at his place, and then I hauled it over here with that little skid steer, and I started level things off, and then I built 3 little skids so that this little office shed skids are right here. The 3 little skids, they're angled so that I can pull this thing around and move it anywhere in the yard. So yeah, and this thing is built pretty strong. It's got hurricane ties in here just to hold it when we haul it around. The hurricane ties are the silver things you see right there. Hurricane ties that holds everything together. And then if you're wondering what this thing is, this is my stud wrench. I actually built it off of my neighbor's when he built one. So what this allows me to do is if there's a joist that's all twisted, I can take it, drop it in, and I can move that joist however I want it before I fasten it into the frame. Yeah, so that's my progress for this past weekend. And what I want to do is, if I do have time sometime this week, I'm going to try and insulate it and put on the flooring. And then after that, it'll be the walls, the roof, and then yeah, go from there. But I thought today I would show you a little bit because I love projects. So I thought I'd show you some of the projects that I've worked on throughout the years at my cabin. Here's what it looks like. Yeah. So one of the first projects that I built was this fire pit area. This fire pit area, I had to build it twice because the first time we built it, there was a concrete company coming to do our deck, and we had to core out 8 holes by hand in a half an hour. So we dug out all those holes, and then once we dug out all the holes, we realized that it wasn't my father-in-law said, "Hey, how come the lines, it doesn't match up to the road? It's not perpendicular, it's not parallel to the road." So then we had to rip all of the concrete out, and I redid it again with some posts that I drove into the ground. But we love this fire pit, and the reason why we love it is because it's got all the wood is right there that I can throw into the fire pit anytime we want, but it also shields it from the wind because of where we are. We're kind of down in the ground. Even if it's crazy windy outside, you can't really tell that it's wind. It's not that much windy, or it's not that windy inside the fire pit. Yeah, and this shed actually used to be in 2 different spots. This shed used to be all the way up there where that trailer was, and then we had moved that shed over to the other side of the house because that trailer came, and then from the other side of the house we dragged that trailer all the way down to this area. So this was one of the many projects, is building this octagon fire pit. And that fire pit is pretty cool because my father-in-law was a welder, and it comes from tractor tires, or the rims on a tractor, and we welded it so it sits up there like that, but underneath the ground it's the exact same thing. So it's mirrored and it's not going anywhere. And we have some pretty awesome fires around the evenings at the lake. And another project that I did 2 years ago was building this play center for the boys. This was a lot of work. I never would have done this without my neighbor's skid steer. But yeah, there's about a foot of sand inside there, so the kids can play and there's no weeds and anything like that. So we still have to paint that structure. I bought it a few years ago, just before COVID. The prices were decent when I was looking at it, but my wife said no, 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 and then she said yes, but then COVID came, so I paid almost double what I could have gotten for that thing used. Anyway, that's it for my updates today. I'll see you tomorrow.